everybody. So you know what I realized? I never told you guys about myself and how I got into fish keeping and how I am now and how the hobby has made me have a lot of tanks. People call it multiple tank syndrome, and I totally have it and I love it. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. You know what? Let me sit down, because I have no idea how long this video is going to be. It's more like a rant, I guess, per se. So let me just throw some of the stuff on the ground, and I'll pick that up later. On a tank. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. So I got into fish keeping. Let's start off from the very beginning. It's not going to be like a super long rant or anything, but I got into fish keeping in 2014, I believe. Yes, 2014. I had to think for a second. So it's been almost 3 years. In, I believe, March of next month, it will be my 3-year mark of doing fish keeping. So it started with, you know, me going to an aquarium place, like those big huge ones. I forget what they're truly called, but like a big true fish place that had like not hundreds of tanks, but massive tanks, like 150, 1,000 gallons of fresh and saltwater fish. I went there and I was blown away, and I was like, how old was I? I guess I was like 16 or, no, not 16, 17, about 17 years old. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. I can't believe this. And then that same night I was like, I told my parents and I said, you know what, I went to the aquarium place. It is so cool. I really want a fish tank. And yes, of course, I tried to convince them. They did say yes, but they said I had to wait till the summer. But I convinced them so much, I was somewhat annoying them, so they just gave in. And I'm really happy they did. But I did get like a snail to start off with. They let me get one snail, and I think it was like a gallon tank or something like that. And I love this snail to death. I don't have it anymore. I think it was like a mystery snail or something, like a gold mystery snail. And then about a month later, I asked them for an actual fish. And I got a fish, and it was a betta fish. I forget which one it was, because I've now, after 3 years of doing fish keeping, I've had, I don't even know how many bettas, like 20. So, yeah, so I had a betta fish, and I loved this fish so much. And by then I knew I wanted to stick in fish keeping. I wanted to do some more fish stuff, and I had such a blast with the snail and the betta fish. Definitely I didn't think this was going to happen, but the next month or 2 months after, I asked my grandma, for another tank, and she said yes. And so I got another tank. I think it was like a 3-gallon. And I guess that in that year of doing it, I had, I think, up to, 6 tanks. So it was really cool. So I've had many different size tanks, many different other types of animals. I've had cichlids, puffers, guppies. I've never tried mollies. I've always wanted to try mollies. I've had plecos. I had a clown loach in the beginning, you know, in like a little 5-gallon tank. You know, rookie mistake. You know, they ended up all dying on me. That's something I've definitely learned. I've learned a lot doing the fish hobby. Good stuff and bad stuff, and I learned from my mistakes. But I've had a lot of different types of fish. I'm a person who likes to try many things, not stick with one like species for like 7 months. I usually give it about 6 months, and by then, if I don't like it, I usually give it away. So, okay, sorry about that. So, in the first year or two, I could never make up my mind, so I was giving fish away a lot, getting more tanks, giving those tanks away because I didn't like them. But now it's somewhat different. Yeah, I'm giving fish away and getting new tanks, but I usually don't give tanks away. So one thing I remember when I first started off is I used to go to the fish store every single week. It was pretty funny, and my parents were really annoyed by it because they had to keep driving me back and forth to the fish store every week. I didn't write a list. I literally was like, oh, I need this, let's go to the fish store. But I loved the fish store. I loved getting new fish. It was awesome. And now to this day, I have 15 fish tanks. I have, if you guys can see right behind me, is my saltwater 30. So I just got into saltwater really recently, about a year ago. The 1 year mark actually happened, I think, like 2 months ago or something. I don't know exactly. But now I'm up to 3 saltwaters. I have black Ocellaris clownfish, and then regular Ocellaris clownfish, and then 2 damsels in my quarantine saltwater tank. And I'm absolutely in love with them. I've definitely learned that they're not super easy, but I've also learned it's not super hard. Also, I've had struggles for salt and in fresh as well, but I've also learned, like, I've had marine ick, I've had ick in the freshwater department, I've had fungus, I've had diseases I've never even known existed. I've seen, what are those things called? Like fleas on fish, those live ones where you have to actually take tweezers and pull them off. And lots of other things. I've seen fish eat other fish. And there's been a lot of good times and bad times. And there's been some mistakes I've done with, give me 1 second, let me go get it. So yes, I'm going to tell you, I've done a few mistakes, a lot of common mistakes, but I've learned from them. But this one is my biggest, I think one of my biggest mistakes, not my biggest, but copper. So I had fry, I think guppy fry, just not too recently. I think maybe like 6 months ago. Yes, 6 months ago. But yeah, I had copper, I had fry that had ick. And of course I treated it with this, and I killed half of them. And I think there was 22 in the batch, and I was left with about 12 or 10 even. I don't know exactly, because now I have like 40 fry, guppies, swordtails, and cichlids. So I definitely learned from that. So not to use copper on fry. I've done it on my cichlids recently. Yeah, I lost a few, but I also didn't lose that much in cichlids. So I guess more on the hardier species, like cichlids, can handle it at a young age, but not like guppies or like swordtails. But that has been my mistakes. And there's other mistakes. I've done so many mistakes in fish keeping, but I've also learned from them. I've also learned how to save money on doing fish keeping, how to be a little bit smarter. Like, for example, let's say you have 2 tanks by side to side. Instead of getting 2 separate lights, for example, get one big one and just put it across. Like, you know that 10-gallon I have with them together, like right beside, like, I'm not going to show you because that's going to be in the other fish room tour. But it has one light across it, so it just shares on one light, so it's like less plug space. But I've learned that, and I've learned what is a good price to pay after working at a fish store. Yes, and I also, after doing this hobby, I love it so much, I also work at a fish store, and I love working there, and I've learned a lot. And that's how I actually got into saltwater, so at work. And I love fish keeping, and I love working at a fish store. And I've definitely learned a lot working at a fish store that I feel like a lot of people don't realize until you actually work at a fish store. Like, for example, sorry about that. For like example, we get a lot of fish in, and usually you have to learn up on even fresh and salt. You learn about new fish, because there's fish I didn't even think that existed that I've learned about, and I think they're really cool. I've learned about a lot of saltwater fish just within a year. I'm still learning, and I'm really happy about it, because I hope to be like being a fish person for years on end. Hopefully I'll be like 65 and still love fish, and yeah. And I've learned a lot in fresh as well. And yeah, you can also learn online and stuff. I've done that as well. I've watched streams, trying to be very involved in fish, try to learn as much as I can in fish, learn about stuff even that aren't super interesting to me, like loaches. it's good to learn about loaches. I don't own a loach, nor do I, well, I've owned like clown loach. That's the only type of loach I've ever owned. But it's good to learn about other stuff as well. So I like that. I'm trying to do a bunch of stuff, fish clubs I'm in. And yeah, I love fish auctions. They're awesome. And I actually really love this hobby, and I'm just trying to figure out what I want, what I don't want. And right now it's going amazing. So even when you have downs, it doesn't mean for you to quit. There's been some times where I've literally said to myself, you know, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm putting myself through all this work and craziness. There's some times where I'm up at 10 or 11 doing an emergency water change on a saltwater tank or on a freshwater tank, and it drives me crazy, or something breaks and it's like, oh great, now there's no fish stored. I've had my filters break on my saltwater tanks at like not 6 o'clock, like maybe 9 o'clock at night, and all the stores are closed, and I have to do like an emergency, find like an air pump and everything, put it in there, wait till tomorrow, and then have to take them back to store, get new ones. But there's been times where it's driving me crazy, but I love it even when those times do, and I feel like, you know, I'm about to pull my hair out. It's just not literally, I wouldn't do that, but like when I'm at that point of just, it's so hard sometimes. But then there's more times happy than there is bad, and that's what keeps me going. There's so much interesting stuff to learn, and I'm nowhere even know, like, that I even know. Like, first of all, I didn't know there was such thing as rose loaches, and I looked at them and they're super cool, and I'm actually thinking about getting some if we ever have some where I am. Or what is it, panda loaches? They're pretty cool. So when they're little, they look like a panda, and then when they grow up, they totally change colors. They're like a gray and like dots on it, and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, so that's, I guess, my little rant, I guess. So yeah,